Orla, and our thoughts and prayers go to those the families of those 444 people who've died, and everyone who is currently in hospital, particularly in intensive care, or indeed in any other setting, suffering from this virus. Our thoughts go out to Mary Lou, and we wish her a very speedy recovery, and looking forward to seeing her back here. And our best wishes go to Alan Kelly and the Labour Party under his new leadership. Corla, my sense is that the Irish people are still acting very strongly, collectively, with real solidarity in response to this threat. I know there was a lot of discussion in the early phases of this as to whether there would be fatigue in terms of how we respond. I don't have a sense of that. It's very hard to have a collective sense because we're all locked down in our own areas, but speaking from Dublin Bay South and areas around, 2 kilometres around, I sense is that we are all still really committed, and the vast, vast majority engaging in a huge exercise of solidarity to protect our people. I hope that gives encouragement to the people working at the front line of this crisis, and I include all the officials, the HSE, the CMO, Tony Houlihan, every nurse, every doctor, every care worker, every person working in the front line in every retail store who are not locked down because of the nature of the importance of their job. We have to thank them for the work they are doing. Maybe one of the reasons why, as I said, there is still this, in my mind, a sense of there isn't a fatigue, is that the numbers in the last week, I'll be honest, were slightly disappointing. The sense the previous week that they were coming down and we were on the right track, and the fact that they bumped up in the last week a certain amount. And I know the critical issue around the numbers going into ICU, which is the one we really need to look at, is still holding good. But just those numbers of people dying and the numbers of people, and I suppose particularly because there was confusion and delay in our testing system, that didn't help in our confidence, and maybe that's reinforced the sense of commitment again to these next 2.5 weeks now of lockdown that we're going to have to go through, at least. I think it's vital, if there's advice to the government, while support being given, that we do get this testing, tracing and isolation mechanism in place, because to be able to open things up, it's clear that's the key mechanism we will need. And that whatever the exact number, we can fixate on that, but we do need the sort of target of 15,000+ tests a day to be absolutely ready to go in place, really rapid response and really rapid follow-up, contact tracing and isolation is what we have to get right in the next 2 weeks, so that if we are to start loosening restrictions, we know we have the ability to dampen down outbreaks of the virus where it takes place. I put out one question or one suggestion without in any way trying to second-guess the officials or others, that as we start to do this, it does seem to me that the wearing of masks, the widespread wearing of masks, if I look at what other countries are doing, does seem to be part of the equation that they're turning to do. The German government, I understand, giving it as an advisory that all people in public places wear masks. And I just say, I think we should start thinking about that if in 2 weeks' time we're starting to open up and people leaving home, maybe that's a culture and that's something we have to prepare for, so that it's a widespread part of the armoury we have in tackling this horrible virus. I think in terms of the second recovery, the economic recovery part, I would also echo those who have suggested, various commentators, that perhaps we should try and, in making our decisions around that, favour our young people as best we can, in maybe in their variety of different ways. You could see it happening. I suppose specifically, very clearly, looking for real certainty around the timing, I hope earlier rather than later, of our Leaving Certificate exams, but also certainty around the deployment in our colleges, the end of this year and at the start of the new term, and also in maybe identifying areas where there are young people working, maybe construction sector might be example one, where we do favour the reintroduction of young people as best we can back into the workforce, because I think that will help lift all our spirits. My sense is our young people have played their part. They're actually self-policing. They're actually really acting responsibly. I think it serves us right to get them back in an ordinary summer life as best we can. I'm very pleased that the government has supported this, signed this, joined 10 other countries in supporting a European Green Deal today. And I also support the comments of the Taoiseach yesterday regarding what I think is a disgraceful decision by the US administration, it seems, to withdraw funding from the World Health Organization at this time. Last but not least, Going back to those care workers, those frontline workers, I think we do need to learn and make sure we come out of this with the slightly different values and change the economic values in our whole approach to the economy, in the economic recovery. People in the supply chain, from the farmer right the way down to the person putting food onto our shelves, and making sure that we have the basic needs. It's their work which has been critical and heroic and helped us and allowed us all to stay at home, is what we need to recognise and make sure we pay properly into the next new economy as it grows. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy.